12:45 nearly on the 6th of December, and I've just woken up. And people still don't believe I've got a clinical depression. The council are going to kill me. My adult social care team, the people that have been assigned to look after me for 6 weeks, it's like hitting my head against the wall. We had a meeting on Friday, last Friday, a few days ago, and they seemed to totally not be interested in anything I said. I told them in the meeting about the repairs and the situation with CAB. I did say I was going to send them a letter, but I had a look at the letter that CAB sent me, and there was some quite personal details on there that I didn't want them to have. So I advised them to contact the CAB. So they contacted me asking for the list, and I had to tell them again to contact the CAB. Because once again, repairs, I've been advised, have only got the repair for the gate, which is a waste of public money because they could get the gate done for free. Council still won't explain why they're not taking her to court to get the gate done and the wall moved and all the repairs done, because she's, damaged the public highway, she's done all sorts of things without permission. Any other person would have been taken to court. Justice is blind, if you remember the statue above the Old Bailey. Justice is blind. Skin colour shouldn't come into it. But no. So, after having another freedom removed on Friday, because I agreed not to write any more complaints and any more emails, and I've already pointed out to Mina, my social care team worker, that this would have been the third complaint that I would have put in against her, because her emails are atrocious. It's either incorrect or she hasn't read the email that you sent her previously. And I am beginning to get really narked now. I'm doing my side of the bargain, and no one else seems to be doing theirs. For instance, when I went to Barking Hospital Wednesday last week, I got a food voucher. Or Tuesday last week, somewhere last week. I got a food voucher. My local food bank is a mile and a half away, open once a week. So I went on Thursday, got my 3 days worth of food, which was handy, but, apart from tin soup and a little bit of pasta, there wasn't, you got tin veg. Well, you don't just eat a tin of veg. You need something with it. Potatoes or something. Do people on food banks just eat tin veg? I've got a tin of veg, I'll have that for a meal. That's not a meal. So I got one food voucher last week. And we had an issue with getting another food voucher because they wanted me to go to Barking Hospital to pick up the food voucher. And I'm sure you can get food vouchers apart from at one location, because hey, that would be a daft idea, wouldn't it? That you had to go 5 miles to pick up a food voucher, another 2 miles to fill it, and 7 miles back. Would that? So initially my social worker was going to post me the food voucher, and I pointed out to her that it has been 3 days since my last food voucher technically run out, because they're only supposed to last 3 days. And the local food bank is open on a Thursday, so if you wanted to post it, you would have to do it on a guaranteed delivery, which would cost, by experience, about £5.50 for a food voucher. Which would be a waste of public money, since at the meeting they did sort of agree they were going to try and get food vouchers at Stour Road. And then she sends one of her colleagues round at 8:30 at night to someone with anxiety issues. She doesn't tell you in advance that, oh, by the way, I'm sending someone round. I'll get a knock on the door at 8:30 at night that I'm not expecting. For some woman to hand me an envelope with my name on it saying, oh, that's from Mina. I don't know if everyone in the adult social care team are like this, but Mina doesn't seem, and I will make no bones about telling you it's Mina, she doesn't seem to know what people with anxiety and depression and Asperger's go through. Maybe she knows one or the other. Maybe. But she opens her mouth without thinking. And there's a witness to that, because in the meeting she said, oh no, we can probably provide travel vouchers. Oh, can't provide travel vouchers. And in the meeting she said, oh, we'll get some food vouchers brought to Stour Road. So it's a new thing they're trying to get in place for me. And there's no food vouchers at Stour Road because she had to get one delivered last night. So why is she opening her mouth without thinking? For someone that's been told not to put any complaints in, it's almost like they're winding me up. So, that's my rant about the adult social care team. So far, Steve's fine. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're all like it, because I've met a couple of people in the adult social care team, and some people are good. Mina, though, rather not, if you don't mind. So, I don't know. And there'll be some people saying, well, if he's depressed, then why is he making YouTube videos? I'm doing it to catalogue exactly how depressed I am. Let's have a look. Bear with me. Let's have a look. See what Fitbit says. I'm sure 9 hours and 29 minutes. I've never slept that long unless I was ill. 9 hours and 29 minutes. And that's with the cat on the bed as well, which normally makes me relaxed. And when I'm relaxed, I don't sleep that long. And it's not like I'm going out anywhere to wear the energy out. I don't know. Anyway. Depression is a funny thing. It's one of those illnesses like anxiety that people just don't see. And most people that I know that have had depression, you wouldn't be able to tell they've got depression. It's not the role you're playing on the outside. It's what you look like in the dressing room. And these assessors from DWP, I wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire, I really wouldn't. Paper pushers, box tickers, they just don't seem qualified to assess people on any grounds. Never mind if it's out, they wouldn't be able to assess whether your shoes were worn out. Oh, don't worry about me, I'll be doing a lot of typing, they say. Yeah, I'm sure they're doing a lot of typing. Oh, Mr. Gibbons is clean, dressed, well presented. Yeah, and he's sitting there, suicidal, depressed, anxious, noise all around. Didn't put any of that down on the assessment, did they? No. He seemed quite calm and not nervous at all, I think the assessor put down on my one. And I must have mentioned next door 4 or 5 times. Noisy neighbour, and I was all anxious, and she didn't put any of that down. DWP, you need to sort your life out. If you're going to assess people and take money away from them, 2 weeks now, 2 weeks, then you need to go by medical opinion, not a civil servant or bureaucrat. They haven't got a clue. In as much as, civil servants I worked for 10 years, fine people. Back then, they had standards which were upheld. But you can't assess people's mental health on a 35-minute interview in a noisy office in a strange environment. If you are going to assess people, you need to go by clinical opinion, not bureaucratic opinion. Okay, the people in the assessment centres don't actually assess you, they just write a report on how you are. But that's even worse, the people that assess you don't even see you. So in future, I'm not going to an assessment centre. If DWP want to assess me, they can assess me in my own environment here. So I feel like I am normally. Even then, and this is part of the reason why I'm doing the YouTube videos, no one sees me how I am when I'm here by myself. Anyone comes in, I start acting. And it's the acting for so long. When I was working, I was acting. I was putting a face on. And I'd end up in tears, in between breaks, in between journeys. I'd be crying and driving along the road. I'd cry when I get home. None of that counts to the DWP. Oh, you're fit for work. Okay, you're torn up and, you're not very well inside. But you can do work. No, I couldn't. It wouldn't be fair on the people I work with. Unless you want them to be verbally abused all the time, and me to complain all the time, and me sacked every few weeks. It wouldn't be fair on the employers or me. So DWP, change your assessment procedures. It's nonsense. The amount of stuff I've seen on forums over the last few weeks about, I could barely walk into the assessment centre and they still passed me fit for work. Really? DWP? Come on. If we're being honest with you, you be honest with us. Use professionals, not assessors, doctors, clinicians, those sort of people. Pay for an assessment. If you don't want people to claim benefits, pay for professionals, not these paper pushers and box tickers that you're paying for now, which is a waste of time because most of the time you pay these people and I believe the figure is something like 80% win on an appeal. So there must be something wrong if 8% are winning on an appeal. Sort your system out, boys. You're making me angry, you're making other people angrier, and I do believe that some people commit suicide over this. I mean, lack of food, lack of money, you can't go out because you can't afford to go out. You can't eat because you're only getting one food voucher a week because the system in the area is nonsense. Someone explain to me, how are you supposed to travel 5 miles to a hospital with no money? It's just nonsense. And then you've got to travel another 2 miles to the food bank in between 2 hours. So once you get to the hospital, you're on a time limit. Oh, I need a food voucher. How long is that going to take? You're going to sit in the queue for 2 hours and then your food voucher's gone because, you're going to starve for that day. So you go there on a Monday, get your food voucher, too late to get to the food bank. You have to come 5 miles back, walk in, remember, and then travel 7 miles to the food bank and 7 miles back the next day. And then do the same 2 days later. Nonsense. And I'm getting angry about this now. I mean, not good enough that I personally had to push John Cruddas to the opposition's chief whip as a complaint because he doesn't see his constituents face to face, especially when they ask to be seen. He doesn't even have the courtesy to write back saying, oh, I'm very busy, I'm going to send one of my blah blah blah. He doesn't even do that. I've contacted quite a few other MPs during my hunger strike. Everyone was pleasant. Everyone wrote back and acknowledged your email. Everyone said what they were going to do and what they couldn't do. John Cruddas doesn't have any of that. Send an email to John Cruddas and see what you get back. Just a general query. Because if you get something back and I don't, then he's picking on the mentally ill. But if you don't get something back and I don't, then he's just not doing his job well. I'm not saying he's not doing it properly. I don't think he's doing it well enough to be an MP. And if it was up to me, I'd have him deselected. He's drifted round here. He gets away with anything he wants. I'm closing my surgeries. I'm not seeing people face to face. Oh, I'll get my office workers to do this. Oh, I'll do stuff without telling people what I'm going to do. He does not even contact you in advance just to confirm exactly what you want. I mean, I've got Asperger's, and I don't always come across well in an email. But John just takes an email, gets on with it, contacts people, and then tells you what you've done. And in fact, it's taken him 10 years to send me a list of what he's done, because I only ever get responses of the answers to the questions. Well, that's meaningless without knowing what the questions were that he asked in the first place, John. So pull your finger out, Mr. Crudders. Go on a customer services training course if you want. They only take 5 days. I'm sure you can spare 5 days, John. I can come round and help you if you want. I've done customer services for so long. I'll give you some free training. It isn't awkward. It isn't impossible for anyone to do. If I can pick it up, you can. There's an offer. Free training for you, John. How you should be running on the office. How you should be responding to emails. What your email should look like. How you should contact customers. Oh, it's more work, granted. But people will like you more in the area, John. You're getting through just because you're Labour. Not because it's you. And I've noticed your figures are falling down over the last few elections, so you want to do something about it. You want to be more personable, customer focused. Professional is the word I'm trying to get to. I don't know. I mean, I used to like you, John, but why don't you talk to people? And then when you do talk to people, you then say, oh, since you've complained to the opposition's chief whip, I have to take advice on how I'll communicate with you anymore, which almost comes across as threatening. I don't see any apologies or any acknowledgement that you might have been lacking. You're just too full of yourself. And I genuinely don't believe that's how you are. But you're all right talking to the big knobs, the council, business leaders, those sort of people. They don't vote you in, John. It's your constituents that vote you in. But there, do what you want. What are you going to do? Take a mentally ill person to court? Come on, John. Just train yourself. Get trained. I'm not saying your office support people are bad, because I think they're quite good when I've spoken to them. But that's my point. Even just a simple standard acknowledgement, automatic. You don't even have to do anything. Just set it up on your server. We have received your email. We will review it and contact you in the next 3 days, say. That's all I'm asking about. I'm not saying you have to do something straight away. But not knowing you're doing something is worse than knowing you're ignoring it. Because you don't know if you're ignoring it or if you're doing something. So, even just, this is what I've been saying about Barking and Dagenham Council, even just an acknowledgement, an automatic response to an email, which they used to have 8 years ago, that got turned off. Even that would be better than what they've got at the moment, not knowing if anyone's actioning it. Because they've got up to 5 working days to action a communication. The least they could do is say they've received it. Or otherwise you get done with vexatiousness, because you're constantly asking, have you got my complaint? On several occasions I had to ring complaints. But complaints don't take phone calls anymore, so you can't even phone complaints to get an acknowledgement of an email. That's a waste of time. Just put an acknowledgement on the email server. Anyway, I'm not going to have me rant. I'm going to try and find some food in the cupboard, because it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I've not eaten since about 8 o'clock yesterday evening. So, thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.
you.